It's time for Let's Talk on your hometown station, 860 AM and 94.1 FM. WSBS and WSBS.com.
Okay, now the program this morning, we're speaking with local historian Gary Leveille. And how you doing this morning, Gary?
Hey, Jesse, good to be here and talking about something different other than sort of local history or one of my books. Different subject.
But definitely a connection to the local area.
Gene Pitney and Great Barrington have some very interesting connections.
Yeah, so that's the big topic this morning. 60s pop star Gene Pitney, who just would have been how old?
On Sunday, February 17th, would have been his 73rd birthday, which I can hardly believe.
73rd, wow.
He passed away in 2006. Gene Pitney had an amazing career, and it started because of a person that lived in Great Barrington. Songwriter and music publisher Aaron Schroeder lived in Great Barrington for many years. He passed away in 2009. And his wife, Abby, still lives here in Great Barrington. She's an amazing, amazing woman who's modest and doesn't often talk about her role in the music business, which was pretty amazing. And we can talk a little bit more about that in a bit. Aaron discovered Gene in 1960. Gene was in New York City peddling his demo records. Aaron was already legendary because he wrote 22 songs for Elvis Presley, 5 of which were #1.
Wow.
Aaron started in the music business in the late 40s, early 50s. His first hit record was a song he wrote for Rosemary Clooney, I think. After Aaron had such success with the whole Elvis thing, he started his own publishing business. And Gene came into his office, and I'm not sure, but I think it was Al Cooper, the songwriter and musician, that happened to be in the office with Aaron. And Gene did his thing, and Al said to Aaron, "Hire the guy. This guy's amazing."
Right.
One of the first songs Gene released was a song called "I Want to Love My Life Away," which he had produced as a demo for $30. Gene was an electronics genius, and he overdubbed his voice 4 times, played every instrument on the on the song. Then one of his next songs was written by Carole King and Jerry Goffin, called "Every Breath I Take," and that was produced by Phil Spector. And that was interesting because here Gene's first hit, "I Want to Love My Life Away," was done for $30. When Aaron brought in Phil Spector to produce "Every Breath I Take," it cost $13,000. I don't think Aaron ever hired Phil Spector again after that.
Yeah.
But then the movie Town Without Pity was going to be cast, starring Kirk Douglas. And Aaron got Gene Pitney to sing the theme song, which was written by Dmitri Timkin, legendary film musician, writer, scorer, most famous probably for High Noon. And Gene recorded Town Without Pity, and he performed it at the Academy Awards in 1962. Pitney was the first pop singer to ever sing at an Academy Awards presentation, ever, which was a big deal. Unfortunately, Town Without Pity lost to Moon River, but Gene's song did win the Golden Globe Awards. So Aaron was the one that brought Gene out to the Academy Awards, and that really, really launched his career. And there's lots more we can talk about with Aaron and Gene, but
music-wise, we'll kick it off with Town Without Pity. Okay, here we go on WSBS.
Only those in apart. Take these eager lips and hold me fast. I'm afraid this kind of joy can't last. How can we keep love alive? How can anything survive when these little minds tear you in two? What a town without pity can do. Anything survive when these little minds tear you in two? What a town without pity can do. No, it isn't very pretty. What a town without pity can do.
That's Town Without Pity, Gene Pitney. And there's something else you wanted to say about that?
Gene's voice was a little different on that song than many of his records. It's a little gravelier and harsher. And Gene told the story that when he went into the studio to record that song, he did it with his normal melodic voice, but the producer kept, try it a different way, try it a different way, try it a different way, hour after hour. Finally, about 2 o'clock in the morning, his voice is shot, and he's like,
Right. Yeah.
and
That's what I want, right?
The producer goes, that's what I want, that's what I want. So normally when Gene sang live, and you can go to YouTube and see many of his performances in the 60s, he sounded live just like he did on the record, except for this song, because he just, that gravelly voice. But
Yeah.
it really did work well
Yeah.
for the song.
Well, actually, we have Mike Fitzpatrick on the phone right now.
Oh,
If you
good.
wanna-
Mike Fitzpatrick is the retired fire chief in Great Barrington who rescued us all when the tornado hit in 1995. He's a bit of a Pitney fan, and he
And a
wants
cast of thousands.
he wants to tell us, I guess, about another Great Barrington connection.
Good morning, Mike.
Hi. Connection that I know about Gene Pitney in town was his aunt lived in a house on Higgins Street, and their last name was Champagne. Was Madeline, Margaret, and Mildred. And they were, Madeline worked at Prudential Insurance here in town, and Margaret worked at Grant's store. And they didn't have a license or anything. You'd see them walking downtown pretty much every day. They were regular church-going women. And they were Gene Pitney's aunts. I kind of vaguely remember a limousine going up Quarry Street one day, because the house is actually closer to Quarry Street than it is in Higgins Street, but I don't know whether that was Pitney or not. But he was their nephew.
What was your favorite Pitney song, Mike?
Mecca.
Oh, I got a story to tell about that. Thanks for calling, Mike.
Okie dokie.
All right, thank you.
Interesting that he mentioned Mecca, because Marilyn Bizowitz, who many of you know is a retired school teacher here in Great Barrington, she emailed me the other day and she wrote, God, I love Gene Pitney. I could sing Mecca at the top of my lungs, driving my mother's blue Pontiac Tempest with the shift on the dashboard, along with my girlfriends up Route 7. And Mecca was a song, we won't be playing it today, very interesting in that for a pop rock song, it featured an oboe, and the first time anything
really? Wow.
had ever been done like that.
So the next song we're going to talk about, you want to give us a little bit of background on it?
24 Hours from Tulsa. And that song and many others that Gene recorded was the result of Aaron Schroeder meeting these little-known songwriters. Oh, maybe you heard of them, Backrack and David.
Right, yeah.
And boy, their songs in Pitney just clicked, and many of his early hits were by Backrack and David. 24 Hours from Tulsa is also interesting to me because I think I was about 12 years old when the song came out, but somehow my ears missed it. I never heard the song till I was in college. And one of my roommates in college, his brother, worked for Gene Pitney. And one day this fellow was playing 24 Hours from Tulsa. I recognized the tune right away, and I said, oh, that's a ripoff of Down in the Boondocks by Billy Joe Royal, which was almost a cult song now. And I was very quickly corrected. Gene was such a big star that people tried to imitate him. And Billy Joe Royal later admitted that he and the songwriter Joe South were purposely trying to sound like Gene Pitney and recorded Down with the Boondocks with a tune that was very similar to 24 Hours from Tulsa. So I was set straight on that. Great song by Backrack and David. Why don't we listen to that?
Dearest, darling, I had to write to say that I won't be home anymore. 'Cause something happened to me while I was driving home, and I'm not the same anymore. Oh, I was only 24 hours from Tulsa, only one day away from your arms. I saw a welcoming light and stopped to rest for the night, and that is when I saw her as I pulled in outside of the small motel. She was there, and so I walked up to her, asked where I could get something to eat, and she showed me where. Oh, I was only 24 hours from Tulsa, only one day away from your arms. She took me to the cafe. I asked her if she would stay. She said, okay. I was only 24 hours from Tulsa, only one day away from your arms. The jukebox started to play, and nighttime turned into day as we were dancing closely. All of a sudden I lost control as I held her charms, and I caressed her, kissed her, told her I'd die before I would let her out of my arms. Oh, I was only 24 hours from Tulsa, only one day away from your arms. I hate to do this to you, but I love somebody new. What can I do when I can never go home again?
Anything else you wanted to say about 24 Hours from Tulsa?
That was Gene's first really big hit in Europe, and I wanted to mention that Aaron Schroeder's wife, Abby Schroeder, who's also very modest in her business career, but she started off as Aaron's assistant, ended up marrying him. Very loyal, hardworking, smart business person. She pretty much took his publishing business and grew it in Europe and Asia, managed it all, and really built Gene's career and others' careers over in Europe. She's amazing. Oh, she loved Aaron, and when she talked to me once about Aaron, she just teared up. She adored him. She still lives here in Great Barrington, still running the music publishing business.
Wow.
We were talking about songwriting on Backrack and David. Gene Pitney was also quite a songwriter. He wrote many songs for other people, such as Hello, Mary Lou for Ricky Nelson. Mm-hmm. He's a Rebel for the Crystals, which really wasn't the Crystals. Phil Spector needed to get the song recorded right away, so he used Darlene Love instead, but the record says the Crystals. And the interesting thing about He's a Rebel, which Gene wrote and was #1, It kept Gene's own hit, Only Love Can Break a Heart, by Backrack and David, out of the #1 spot. It only got to #2. Gene always said he was okay with that, having a song that he wrote as #1 and he recorded as #2.
And so the next song coming up is Time in the River?
Time in the River, Gene recorded. It was not a hit, but it was written by Aaron Schroeder, so I wanted to include it. It was a hit for Nat King Cole. It's a beautiful song, and why don't we listen to Aaron Schroeder's Time in the River?
Okay, here it is.
Time and the river will bring my love to me. If I must, I'll wait forever by the river that took her to the sea. Here by the river we love, we laugh, we cry, but with time, my love, my darling, left my arms and was gone with the tide. How long I've been lonely, star of love, shine bright. I need her, oh lead her to my arms tonight. Time and the river, how swiftly they go by, but my heart will beat for no other till time stands still and the river runs how swiftly they go by, but my heart will beat for no other till time stands still and the river runs
I never had the chance to ask Aaron if that was the Housatonic River or just a generic river.
Right, yeah.
But it was a nice song. I wanted to quickly just rattle off some of the many hits that Gene Pitney had. It's amazing during the 1960s and 70s. I Want to Love My Life Away, Every Breath I Take, Town Without Pity, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. There's tons of stories around that. Only Love Can Break a Heart, Half Heaven, Half Heartache, True Love Never Runs Smooth, Mecca, 24 Hours from Tulsa, It Hurts to Be in Love, I'm Gonna Be Strong, which we will be playing. I Must Be Seeing Things, Looking Through the Eyes of Love, Nessuno Mi Può Giudicare, he was big in Italy, in Spain. Backstage, Just One Smile, written by Randy Newman. Gene was one of the first to record a Randy Newman song,
Oh, wow.
as well as an Al Cooper song. Just One Smile, which was Randy Newman. Something's Gotten Hold of My Heart, which he re-recorded in 1989 and had a #1 record in England. He sang with Mark Allman of Soft Cell.
Okay.
Huge #1 record in England in 1989. His last big hit in the United States was called She's a Heartbreaker in '68, which is a real hard-rocking song. Shady Lady, Blue Angel, Trans-Canada Highway. Gene also did some country western stuff. He was an early crossover artist. We'll save that whole story for another time. One of my favorite all-time songs that Gene Pitney did, I don't have any stories to go with it, I'll let it speak for itself, is called Last Chance to Turn Around, also known as Last Exit to Brooklyn.
The wheels of my old car are turning, burning up the highway. Tonight that girl of mine will be yearning or not learning to see things my way. She hurt me for the very last time. I'm not hanging around. I'll show her I can leave her behind. I'm getting out of town. I won't back down. I won't back down. Last exit to Brooklyn. Last chance to turn around. Last exit to Brooklyn. Gonna keep these wheels of mine covering ground. Last night I thought that girl lying, trying to deceive me. And now all of these tears she's crying, I'm not buying, you better believe me. She swore that she was mine alone, our love would never die. I'm leaving now for parts unknown. I saw her with that guy. That's the reason why I'll be passing by. Our last exit to Brooklyn. The last chance to turn around. Gonna keep these wheels of mine covering ground. On the last exit to Brooklyn. The last chance to turn around. The last exit to Brooklyn. The
Okay, so that's Last Chance to Turn Around. We got one more song, right?
We didn't even talk about Gene's connection to the Rolling Stones or his affair with Marianne Faithfull. Lots of good stories. Maybe if I don't overstay my welcome, you'll have me back next year.
Yeah, we got part two, definitely.
Gene had a 4-octave range, and it was never more obvious than in this operatic ballad called I'm Gonna Be Strong, one of my favorites.
I can see you're slipping away from me, and you're so afraid I'll plead with you to stay, but I'm gonna be strong and let you go your way. Gone. There's no sense in holding on, 'cause your pity now would be too much to bear. So I'm gonna be strong and pretend I don't care.
Okay, so that kind of wraps up the program. I'm going to be strong. Anything else you wanted to say about that, Gary?
You might say we ended it on a high note.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you could really hear that build for sure.
Thank you, Jesse, for having me.
Oh, thank you. And again, we've been speaking with Gary Leveille this morning, talking about 60s pop star Gene Pitney, and of course his birthday was on the 17th, and you said he would have been 73. Yeah. Well, thanks again, and we'll definitely have you back on next year for kind of a part 2.
I look forward to it.
All right, on the way, we'll have your weather forecast and a bulletin board update on WSBS.